The Brexit debacle has further undermined confidence in the British political system, said Michael Keating, Professor of Politics at the University of Aberdeen. But it matters in Scotland because of this alternative, the independence option. In a referendum in 2014, Scots rejected leaving their 300-year-old union with England and Wales by 55% to 45%. Prime Minister Theresa May's Conservative-led government, kept in power by Northern Ireland's small but strongly pro-United Kingdom DUP party, says Scotland's views have been heard. But its desire for an independent trade policy after leaving the EU is far from Stugion's preference of a much softer Brexit that would at least keep Britain in the EU single market. Many now see the greatest chance of Scottish independence arising if current talks between the Conservatives and the main opposition Labour Party fail to reach a compromise on future relations with the EU. The thing that the SNP have above all to hope for is that this government falls, we get a general election, and out of that general election we get a minority government in which they hold the power that the Democratic Unionist Party, DUP, currently have, as kingmaker, said John Curtis, Professor of Politics at the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow. If Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn and May reach a deal, many in Labour, as well as in Stugion's SNP, want a second Brexit referendum to ratify or reject it, with an option of remaining in the EU. But the Labour leader himself has expressed only tepid backing for a second vote. A senior SNP source said Corbyn was manoeuvring for a general election. That outcome would also favour the SNP. Since 2014, support for secession has been stuck at 45%. But a YouGov poll on Saturday found backing at 49% after Sturgeon this week outlined her indirect two plans. However, even under a Corbyn government, there is no sure way the SNP can force the UK Parliament to agree a new legal vote on secession, as UK constitutional arrangements demand. Ripple affects the SNP's best bet, as it meets for conference in Edinburgh this weekend, is to drive up public support for secession. A grassroots campaign is already in the offing. If, eventually, Britain were to reverse Brexit, this would call into question the formal justification for another independence vote, described as a material change in circumstances in the SNP's 2016 policy programme. Those at the conference, such as Neil Gillespie, a 53-year-old self-employed electrician, welcomed the idea of staying in the EU. But he says that would not remove the need for a new secession vote, because the UK government has shown that it lacks the will or ability to accommodate Scotland's views. I have a lot of customers who voted no in 2014 and a huge amount of them have looked at the way Scotland has been treated during Brexit and they have changed their minds, he said. Stopping Brexit might delay the debate over power. The independence question certainly is not going to go away. But if we were to remain in the EU, we would have more time to think about it, said Keating, adding that this might mean seeking other ways to enhance the powers of the Scottish Parliament.